what we're finding is that people take these biases, right? And who do we always see? And especially like the Geicos right now, right? Anybody here that's a captive agent and you've lost a customer to Geico, what does Geico always do, right? They talk to your customer and they're like, oh, you're a 22-year-old kid. You don't need this high coverage. You need state minimum, right? And people seem to believe it because they're like, you don't have any assets. But the problem is that if you break the numbers down, and I can do the math with you guys to show you, but you know, the younger adults and the elderly are actually the most at risk that need the higher limits than your actual middle-aged adults. Sure. And so it's odd like that. It's backwards than what you would think. But you know, the numbers are there to support it.
Crazy. So expand on that more.
Yeah. So let's take for an example. All right. Say you have an accident and, you know, on your liability limits, you've got $100,000 in coverage, right? Which is pretty typical, 100, 300. Okay. Well, that 100,000 is for any single injury caused in a crash. But what has today's healthcare costs done? I mean, they've skyrocketed. So, yeah. If you're talking to somebody gets transported from the accident scene to the hospital by ambulance, gets checked in, God forbid stays overnight, gets a CAT scan, an MRI, EKG, all this other stuff in the ER, gets admitted, and God forbid they have surgery, 100,000's gone already. And you haven't even started to touch the surface now of a lawsuit. Yeah. So, you know, we start to look at right now, the average lawsuits that we're seeing across the country are about $600,000 is about average.
Wow.
Okay. And so, like,
say that number again. I think it's very important.
About 600,000 is what we're seeing for serious injury or fatalities.
600,000, and that's not even if there's the helicopter involved, right?
No, that's just car to car.
How much is that helicopter ride?
Right.
150.
Imagine that, or
120.
You know, yeah, you know, and we're not even talking property damage. We're talking liability only. That's all we're talking about. Wow. And so, you know, think about like in these categories, let's just take our young adult, for example. So I looked this up before we get on here, right? And I'm like, all right, so let's say they have a $600,000 lawsuit. Typically, what do you see a young adult, 22-year-old kid, 23-year-old kid, what's their insurance coverage that you typically see?
$1,530.
Yeah, or $2,550 in my case, because the East Coast states seem to be a little bit higher on state minimum. But state minimum.
I thought that they were higher on the West Coast.
I don't know. They're all, well, far west, I guess.
Bad joke. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. Oh, higher.
What can you do?
Oh, geez. But no, so let's just say they got 25,000, right? If you got sued for 600,000, first thing we're going to do is take that 25 grand out off there. So you're left owing 575,000. Let's say this 20-some-year-old kid has $10,000 in savings and investments that his parents, you know, stocks and bonds, grandma, grandpa put aside for him, all that. We're going to deplete your entire savings account, all your investments. You're left owing 565,000. Right? Yep. Parents bought you a $50,000 life insurance policy as a kid, right? We're going to force you to cash that in, and we'll take that 50 grand. So you still owe me 515,000. Average salary for a 25-year-old in the United States right now is 45,000 a year, or 1,700 to pay. Okay.
Yep. Here's the magic. This is the part that nobody even thinks about.
Yeah. So we can garnish up to 30% of your pay to repay that $515,000 that you owe me. So that takes you, once I garnish that 30%, you went from making $1,700 a pay to $1,200 a pay. And
what if I don't want to pay that? What if I don't?
Doesn't matter. The courts will garnish it. Before it even hits your bank account, we'll just take it.
What percentage gets garnished that you've seen? What percentage gets garnished that you've seen?
Anywhere between 20 and 30%.
So it's really rolling. You're rolling the dice.
Yeah. And so think about this.
Not the fun way, not like in Vegas.
If I'm taking 30% of your pay and you're making $45,000 a year, it will take you 38 years to pay off this lawsuit. Dang. So if you got sued when you're 25, you're going to be paying on it till you're 63 years old. And while your wages are being garnished and you have an active lawsuit against you, you cannot save, invest, buy a house, file bankruptcy. Any extra money that you have has to go towards your lawsuit. So you can't even.
But you know what, Eric? I'm a really good driver. I'm not gonna get in an accident.
You know what? Look at every accident that you've seen on the side of the road. Did either of those drivers wake up today and say, you know what? I'm getting in an accident today.
But I'm really a good driver.
They weren't.
Right. But yeah, I mean, so it's crazy, you know, and you can run that same model out for a middle-aged adult. The only difference is a middle-aged adult, you can sell your house.
Right.
So, you know what I mean, for the positive equity, and you could probably get that down to maybe only owing 100,000. You're going to have a higher paying job. So you can get that lawsuit paid off a little bit quicker. Mm-hmm. But like, look at an elderly adult, right? I mean, man, if they're on Social Security and they only have that 2550, you know, we're going to take your entire savings, retirement, investments, all that same stuff's going to go. We're going to take your life insurance policy. And imagine if you're a 70-year-old, 65-year-old, and I take your life insurance. You ever going to get another life policy? Not for what you were paying.
Nope.
You know, but we're going to take that. We're going to force you to sell your house, force you to sell off all of your assets at an auction, take all that money, and you're still going to end owing for the rest of your life. And yeah, some states you can garnish Social Security under certain circumstances, and it's really hard to do, but you can. But if we don't garnish the Social Security, you at least still have to pay that restitution. So yeah, you may get your full Social Security check, but you have a bill every month for $700 from the government that you got to pay from your Social Security.
And all you had to do was skip Denny's once a month.
Yeah.